The ability of Excel to format its data based on specific conditions is one of its most used features. In earlier versions of Excel, the process was rather hard, but now things have gotten a lot easier.
Microsoft has divided their easy-to-apply conditional formatting rules to 5 distinct categories. To use them, we have to go to the Home tab of the ribbon and to the Styles group of commands. There, we click on the Conditional Formatting drop-down command.
Here you can see the 5 rule categories. Highlight cell rules, top-bottom rules, data bars, color scales, and icon sets.
Let's start to see which rules each category contains. We select the values in the Amount column and navigate to the first conditional formatting category. We select the Greater Than rule. A new window appears which gives us 2 options. In the left box, we have to fill the value, which all the other selected cells will be compared to. If the value in the cells is greater than, but not equal, to the value we type inside this box, then they will be formatted with the style we will select in the right drop-down menu. There is already a value inserted in the text box and the cell rate is already formatted accordingly to help us preview the results. Instead of just typing a value, we can select a cell which contains the required one. For example, we want to format all sales that are greater than Mr. Rand's sales in December. We could just type 110, but instead we will select the cell C13.
Now it's time to select the formatting. There are 6 predefined styles, these ones here. If none of them suits our needs, we can create our own custom format. We will do just that. We click on Custom Format.
The familiar Format Cell window will appear. We choose a blue and bold font and set the background fill to yellow. We click on OK, and we can preview what the results will be if we click on OK again. We're happy with the results, so we click on OK.
Let's go back to the rules list. We have talked about greater than, less than, between, and equal to work in exactly the same way. The less than rule will format only those cells that are less than the comparison value. The between rule will format the cells between 2 values. And the equal to rule will format the cells that are equal to the comparison value we will set.
You could rightfully think that these rules are only valid for numbers. Well, they aren't. Let's select all the months and navigate to the greater than rule. Conditional formatting, highlight cell rules, and greater than. We select A9 as the comparison value, the month August. We can see in the automatic preview that all the months which are alphabetically after the word August are highlighted. So these comparison rules work for text as well. We don't want to format our months for now, so we click on Cancel.
We keep the months selected and go back to our rules. The next rule is the rule Text that contains. Its function is self-explanatory. It formats all the text that contain the text we will enter on the left box. So if we type the word Ember, the months September, November and December will be highlighted.
Keep in mind that although this rule is called text that contains, it works with numbers as well. Let's see that in action. We select the amount column and click on the same rule. We type the number 2 as the text to check, and both of the cells that contain the number 2 are highlighted. So for this rule, Excel treats the numbers as text.
Now we have a rule designed specifically for dates. We select the date cells of the second table. It is the next rule of the same category, a date occurring.
In the new window that appeared, we have two drop-down menus. The one on the right is the familiar one with the styles selection, and the one on the left contains 10 date comparison options. If we navigate through these different options, we can see the highlighted dates changing. There is no date for yesterday, but there is one for today. This is the last week, and this is the last month. We pick this one and choose one of the default styles.
The last one from this group of rules is the duplicate values. We select the amount column, navigate to the rule, and click on it. The right drop-down menu remains the same. It is the one we use to choose the styling of the cells that are either duplicates or unique, as it is shown from our two options on the left drop-down menu. The duplicate highlights all values that exist more than once in the selected area. Values 120, 170, and 100. If we choose to highlight the unique values, then the rest of the column is highlighted.
Very useful features, but we're not done yet. At the bottom of every conditional formatting category, we have the option More Rules. If we click on it, a window will appear. With the help of this window, we can customize our conditional formatting rules even further, but this is something for another lesson.
Before we continue, we should do a bit of house cleaning. We have applied a lot of rules, and it is better to clear them and begin again with an empty canvas. To do so, we go back to our familiar conditional formatting drop-down menu and then click on Clear Rules. We have four options here. One is to clear all the rules only from the cells we have selected. The other is to clear them from the entire sheet. The third is to clear them from the table we have selected. And the last one, which is now disabled, would only be valid if we had selected a pivot table. We want to clear the rules from the whole sheet, so we click on the second option. All the conditional formatting rules have been cleared.
The second category of conditional formatting rules are as exciting as the first one. The top-bottom rules category. The first one is called Top 10 Items. If we click on it, then on the right of the window, we still have the styling drop-down menu, and on the left we have the number 10, which we can change if we want. So, even if the rule is called Top 10 Items, we can change it to highlight the top 3 items, for example. All the cells that contain the top 3 values are highlighted. Since the value 170 exists in 2 cells, the formatted cells turned out to be 4 and not 3. So this rule doesn't format the top 3 cells, but the cells with the top 3 values.
The other rules in the group work similarly. But first, let me clear the rules from this table. As previously, I go to Clear Rules and clear rules from this table only. The top 10% formats the cells that contain the top 10% of the values. Of course, we can change the number 10 and choose to highlight the top 1%, for example. The bottom 10 items and the bottom 10% rules stylize the bottom part of our values instead of the top.
And that leaves us with the last two, the above and below average. Clicking on them shows us a window that contains only the familiar styles drop-down. We can see that all the cells that have a value above the average value of the cell range are highlighted.
A quick tip: the average of a selected cell range is shown down here along with the count and the sum of the same cell range. So any cell containing a value greater than 137.5 will be highlighted. The below average rule would highlight any cell containing a value less than 137.5.
We know that this is turning out to be a long lesson, but we're almost at the end. Even though we have 3 rule categories left, they all have similar functionality. They are all used to visually depict the value of each cell in comparison to each other. If we choose, for example, the first category, data bars, we have 12 options. Hovering our mouse over each one, we can see what each of them does. It shows the value as data bars. The cell with the maximum value has a full data bar, while the other ones have smaller data bars according to their values, like a mini chart. The different options show the same result with a different gradient or solid fill.
The next category uses a color scale to depict the difference in cell values. For example, the first option, which is called green, yellow, red, shows the cells with the greatest value in green, the ones with the lowest in red, the one with the average in yellow, and the cells in between are shown in a gradient of the aforementioned colors depending on their distance of the max, average or mean values. The different options just use different sets of colors.
And then there are the icon sets. Depending on the value of the cells, the icons change accordingly. It is easier to explain this if we select the 5 ratings icon set. According to the value of the cell, a different icon is shown. The max value has the full signal icon, while the lowest value has the no signal icon. The ones in between have the icon that best represents their value in comparison to the max and the mean values. The rest of the icon sets function similarly.
If we click on the conditional formatting drop-down once more, we can see 2 more options we haven't talked about yet. The New Rule option and the Manage Rule options. The New Rule option opens the window we have seen appear when we clicked on the More Rules option that appeared at the bottom of each group of rules. We will talk about the functionality of this window in a more advanced lesson.
And if we click one last time on the conditional formatting drop-down and select the last option of the list, we will see a window appear which shows us all the rules we use. From the drop-down menu at the top of the window, we can choose to display the rules of current selection, of current worksheet, of the current table, or of any other table in our sheet, and a lot more, which we will include in the more advanced lesson on custom conditional formatting.